Just one second, Mary. Let me just make sure we have everybody in.
Okay,
Okay, we all set now?
Mhm.
Okay, we are all set now. Yes, you can continue.
okay. Good evening. My name is Mary Craig. I'm the Vice Chair of the Yarmouth Board of Health. I'd like to call the Monday, October 4th, 2021 meeting to order. This is a remote participation meeting. Instructions for accessing it are on the town website. I'd like to call first. Eric,
Present.
Charlie,
Here.
and I am here also. So our first item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anybody raising their hand out there or asking to speak? No? Okay.
No, there is not.
Okay, we will move on then to the first item on the agenda, which is a hearing regarding 31 Bayberry Road, West Yarmouth. There's a variance that they are requesting. Bruce, can you fill us in a little bit more?
Yes, this is a existing cottage. Am I on? See me? I hit this. Just one second, Ms. Chairman. Am I up on the screen?
It could be. Yes, but you're afraid the video, is your video on?
Yeah, I'm just checking if I'm logged in here. I just hit mouse here. That get me off here. So I just hit.
Should be able to see
Got
it
it.
on there.
Do I hit this?
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
Should I click this? Say,
Video, do you see a video?
I think I have to click. Got it.
Should be able to see on there, I don't know why.
Now,
Okay, let's move this.
there we go. Where's that? I think I'm up. Let's see. Okay, start video.
There you go.
Here we
There
go.
you go. Mhm.
Okay. I don't have to do unmute.
Yes, no, I'm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you can hear me now, Ms. Chairman?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yes, I'm on now. What we have, the board has before you is a small cottage down on Bayberry, as you mentioned, 31 Bayberry, and needs a new septic system with the new owners. We have the request before us from the engineering. If you want to just scroll down a little bit.
Let me come share my screen.
Let me just, here we go. We scroll down through the application.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. And the engineer will go over the letter here in a minute, but I just want to go down to the site plan itself. If we can, it's a small three-bedroom house. That's the list of abutters. But I want to zero in, if we can, on the septic systems in front of the house. And they have an old cesspool behind the house right now, which is probably in groundwater. And what we're going to do is put a new system in front. And as we work our way to the,
Give me the, he's gonna give me
no,
the mouse, he's gonna give me the mouse.
oh, jeez. Just one second while we try to get back through that. I think we gotta. They were to come up with they were supposed to give us a, well, we got a mouse right here. See if that helps a little bit. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go.
Mhm. Technical difficulties. There we go.
Yeah, fighting that's okay. Oh, every time we,
Ah,
want me just explain it from here. Oh, there you go.
mhm.
Now you just have to move it up. Okay, that's good. Let me look at your mouse. I'll just use that as a pointer. The old cesspools behind the house right here, in this area right here, they're gonna turn, and it's only about 20 feet from wetland that's behind the house on 3 sides. They propose to put a tight tank in front of the house, which is a solid septic tank with no leaching. It's probably the most environmental situation that we could do. Instead of putting a vault probably 4 or 5 feet out of the ground, taking up the whole area, they're gonna put a solid tight tank in. I think this is one of the very few cottages that are probably left that were built probably 60 plus years ago. And it was a small lot, something like that wouldn't meet today's standards, but that's what we need to work with. There is a note on the plan, when town sewage goes by, they must hook up. This section is in phase 2 of sewering. So it's the one of the first ones after 28 that will be sewered down this area. That's the general overview, board members, and the engineer from Down Cape Engineer, Danny Gonzalez, can give you further information. I think Danny can go over the letter that he presented and talk a little about the type of system. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. Danny?
Yes,
You have the
good
floor.
evening. For the record, Danny Gonzalez, professional engineer with Down Cape Engineering, here on behalf of the Valencics and their property at 31 Bayberry Road. Bruce gave a nice little summary there, but
Picture go up on the screen.
we tried to design this as a typical Title V system with a tank and a leaching field. And the variances, they started to pile up. They were looking at about a 4-foot high wall in the front yard, which is going to be above their top of foundation elevation. We were going to be much closer to the wetland area, and obviously leaching into the groundwater, not into the groundwater, but would have been better than the cesspool. But we decided to try to find an alternative solution. So we sat down with Bruce, we took a look at it, and they opted to try to propose this tight tank solution, which they're going to reroute the plumbing from the back to the front, and all the flow from this 3-bedroom dwelling will go into this 3,000 gallon tight tank. At 3/5 capacity, the alarm will turn on. Bruce, you had a question about when that would be. That's at 1,800 gallons. So they oversized this tank a little bit just to reduce the frequency of the pump tank coming down this street and pumping it. And rerouting the plumbing up front also sets up nicely for a sewer connection to easily be tied into when that does eventually come down here. That is the goal. I think that's, getting sewer to this property is obviously the best solution. We do have wetland on 3 sides, and this tight tank will be temporary until sewer does come down here. We are asking for a variance in reduction to the separation of groundwater from the inlet and out, just the inlet T. There is no outlet T. Basically, we're supposed to be a foot above adjusted high groundwater, and we're kind of right at adjusted high groundwater. So to help mitigate that, they put in these watertight boots. They seal all the pipes. The tank will be completely sealed, watertight. And we will check that, before we certify that everything went in okay. I think I tried to cover most of it there, but if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I'll just ask one on behalf of the, as the board's looking at it, is the tight tank itself a monopore just with no seams? It's just a solid tank?
I don't know if they make a 3,000 gallon monopore. So I think they'll have to factory seal and waterproof it before it's installed in the ground.
Okay. This would be a system, just for the board members to know, when it does go in, the engineer would go out and certify it going in, that the boot has been installed and the tank is not leaking. Obviously, the homeowner doesn't want it to leak because then he's just paying to have groundwater pumped. So I'm sure they'll take the necessary precautions to make sure it's waterproofed. I believe you're also going to conservation this week, just because you're dewatering. You want to just explain that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we'll be, because of the high groundwater, they kind of got to pump out the water that is in the hole as they excavate. That usually goes to a silt sack far enough away from the wetland, and it kind of filters out all the dirt and then just kind of flows back in there as clean water. So we have proposed a filing with conservation. That'll be later this week. We don't anticipate any issues with them, but they did want to just take a look at it because of the proximity to the wetland and the uniqueness of the tight tank in this area.
Okay, thank you.
Danny, I have a question. The site plan says that a plumber will confirm the feasibility of this. Has that happened?
So we've received calls from a couple installers who are in the process of providing quotes, and what we've heard, at least preliminarily, is the plumbing can most likely be rerouted out the front and raised up. It just may not come out in the exact location that we show it. It may have to be shifted north or south a few feet, but they don't believe that's going to be an issue down the line.
Okay.
Is there not to jump in real quick, is there a large footing that has to be concerned with, whether you go out on the top or below it to meet elevations?
So they did just do some foundation work. I believe they put in, it's either a beam or it is a concrete structure, but I was assured by the installer that they can just core right through that just for this small 4-inch pipe just to get that through. So I think, that won't be an issue. It's more of just kind of, they have limited workspace, so they got to get under that building just to kind of run a pipe, and they should be.
Okay, thank you.
This is a 3-season home, is it?
Well, the Valencheks, who are our clients, they just bought it. They don't plan on spending all 4 seasons here permanently, but they may come down once in the winter or something like that. But it's more of a vacation cottage for them. They don't live here year round.
Okay. Charlie or Eric, do you have any questions?
No, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, let's hear from Eric and then I'll take you up on that, Charlie. Eric, any questions?
I think I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Charlie, go ahead.
Before you make a motion, Charlie, is there a date when you propose to have this installed by?
So as soon as possible. They've been pushing us. They have something going on with, the closing and the purchase of this property where their mortgage company is pushing them to resolve the septic matter. So we're, as soon as we get through you guys, assuming it passes and assuming we get through conservation without too many issues, they're going to be looking for a permit relatively soon.
So you'd want to have the motion say, have it installed by the end of the year?
That
be
would be
okay?
fine. Yep.
All right, I defer to
Well, the end of this year. So
Yeah.
you're
December 31st. 21.
Yeah, I would, maybe 6 months, maybe just to give them a little, I don't know the time frame for the construction companies. So I just wouldn't want to,
May 1st.
yeah, that would be fine.
June.
Go ahead. Good.
All right. I make a motion that we grant the variance for 31 Bayberry Road, West Yarmouth, and installed by the 1st of June 22.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. The variance has been approved and the June 1st, was that what you said, Charlie? 2022 is, it would like to have it in by.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead on to the coronavirus update as the next agenda item, skipping over the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee flyer for now.
Thank you. As we can see, where we've been sitting with our positive cases within Yarmouth since the coronavirus started. We picked this chart up on August 17th. We can see that we had the high part of the wave in December, January, the second wave, then the third wave in April. And now we see we're still in the August of this year, fourth wave Delta. You can see we're at 40 active cases. We had gone up to 50. Right now, it's less than the 110 cases that we saw active per day in the third wave, or 180 in the second wave. So it's still within the community. Next. As of today, Phil was looking at the cases today, and right now we have 32 active cases in town, and we picked up one death certificate, I think was before that just came in. So 32 active cases in the community right now. Okay. Where does that bring us? And this is one thing that I know the board had discussed before. For the month of September, we had 137 positive cases with an age range from 1 to 98 years old. The breakdown of that 137 cases was between the age group of 1 to 11, we had 15 positive cases, and then 12 to 98 was 122. And it's broken off in that segment because it's over age 12 or 12 and over that people can be vaccinated. So then we looked at, okay, out of the people that were positive and not vaccinated, there were 58 cases. And then we broke that down to ages 12 to 15. There was 12 positive cases within that group that were positive and not vaccinated. And then it went up to a higher of 30 to 49 positive cases of not vaccinated. So out of our 58 cases, roughly 47% positive cases were not vaccinated. So then we looked down below a little bit and said, okay, out of the people that have been vaccinated that are positive was 64. So it's about 52%. So just over 50% of the cases we're seeing now, positive cases, of people that have been vaccinated. You go down to that age group of that we saw up top, 30 to 49, 18 cases. But surprisingly, we're seeing a few of the more of the older community, 65 to 74 or 75 and above. Even though they were vaccinated, they've still come down with milder symptoms. We did have 2 deaths in September. Both, I believe, had underlying conditions that were vaccinated. So we tried to break it out for the board. Before I move on, did the board want to discuss this at all a little bit between vaccinated and unvaccinated? Oh, can't hear you, Mary.
Bruce,
Good.
I'm thinking, sorry, Bruce, I'm thinking that, perhaps some of the ages 75 plus have gone longer than 6 months or at 6 months anyway, since their completion of the vaccination, and that immunity is waning, because that's not a group that has robust immunity anyway. Is there any thought about that?
That's probably the age group now that's going to be ready for their next third shot or booster shot.
Right.
We know Pfizer has come out with their booster. Moderna and will probably be about a month before they get their approval. So yes, some of those people are probably in need now if they're not maintaining the antibodies.
So we probably want to encourage folks who have hit that 6-month mark and had the Pfizer vaccine that they go ahead and get their third dose
Yes,
as soon as possible.
yes. And they're readily available at, when we called around at the local pharmacies. And even the local Stop and Shop here on Long Pond also has been available. So it's readily available. Okay. Good. So that brings us to, where do we sit, townwide with our positivity rate? We can see down the bottom, we've increased back up to 3.96. We're almost at 4 again. We've had 77 cases over the last 2 weeks. The only other town that's, higher than us we'll see next is, Barnstable. But our positivity rate was going down. It had that spike high in the summer, which we had some cases that came through the Provincetown flare-up they had down there. And then our cases started to go down towards the end of August, and then it started to shoot back up again. Okay, so where does that leave? Go ahead. Yarmouth compared to the rest of the Cape towns. You'll see our positivity rate, 3.96, is the third highest on the Cape. Still with Truro and Eastham's with a higher positivity, even though they have less cases. They also have less people and less testing. You can see we've almost done 1,900 tests. After us at 77 cases, it drops down to Falmouth with 91 and then Barnstable with 122 cases. So we're above the state average. That's just under 2, and we're above the county average. Okay. This is just a larger spread of where we've sat and other towns have sat over the last several months. Kind of hard to read, but it's the last category on the right, which is the September 28th one. Okay. Good.
I'd like to make a comment here.
Go ahead. Go back.
It doesn't, you don't need to show that. That's all right. I think that this shows that our positivity rate is increasing. We are higher than the rest of the state. Many experts are thinking that New England is going to be the last region of the country to be really hard hit by the Delta variant. And it may be that that's what we are seeing right now starting. So I think it's very important to remind anyone who's out there listening or hears about the meeting that the Board of Health issued a mask advisory for indoors for everybody, vaccinated or not, and that it is still very important to not drop your guard, to get vaccinated if you're not vaccinated, to continue to wear a mask when indoors.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, 2. Yep. So during September, we also had one assisted living facility that had 14 cases, 8 residents and 6 staff. The residents were all vaccinated, and I want to say about half the staff were vaccinated. We're not sure where it came up within the assisted living facility. I mean, they've stopped visitation, but whether when it first started, whether a staff person brought it in or a delivery person. So they've taken a lot of precautions, and that's pretty much under control now. But you can see it was a quick flare up and how quick the Delta can spread.
Bruce?
Go ahead.
I have a question. This is not a facility that has required the staff to be vaccinated then?
That is correct. It is not a nursing home. So it's not required. It's highly recommended. They've been working with their staff on training. They're taken since then, this was a quick flare up. They've taken additional precautions, like I said, of no guests. They shut down the dining room at one period of time and activities. So it just shows you how quick it can go through.
Thank you.
During the month of September, we also saw 21 Yarmouth students in the district. This is just Yarmouth students within the school system. The cases were not spread out in a classroom. It was just basically one classroom that they might have been positives from bringing it from home, but we didn't have 2 positives within a classroom. So it's not spreading within the school, but yet we're seeing positive cases within the school. And as we know from the earlier slide, not everybody, it's a lower percentage age 12 and above that have been vaccinated. So they have taken precautions. Most desks are 3 feet apart, so children do not have to go home and isolate. If they've been 3 feet apart, they can still maintain school and they're just monitored. Some of them, if they change classes or are eating together, we have to look at how close they are in all their classrooms if they're changing. And if they're at the lunch, that's a possibility of, depending who they're sitting close to at lunch, might have to be quarantined. So we're in contact daily, 7 days a week with the school. And that's something that Phil Renaud at the health department spends a lot of his time on. Okay. The hospitalization rates remain low, which is good. This just starts out earlier. The top right, you can see in March 29th, we had 30 people up on the COVID floor at the hospital. Then it kind of dropped down in April, and then really dropped through in May. Where we sit right now for hospitalizations on the next sheet here, it had gone up a little bit. Cape Cod Hospital, as of last week, had 12 on the COVID, but nobody in ICU. So that's something that we keep a weekly monitoring of also. Thank you. Vaccination, I know this is a busy chart because I tried to add a couple things to it, is the vaccination rates. If we look at that first one, age 12 to 15, where there's 834 children in that range, 521 of them have been vaccinated for at least one shot, is at 62%. But we only had the plus one is we only had +1 from the week before. If we go over a little bit more, the children that 12 to 15 that are fully vaccinated was 444, and we picked up 4 from the week before. So as you can see, as we go down the column on the left, how many pluses that we've picked up in each individual age group. And the highest age group of we're still getting vaccinated is the plus 32 at the 75 and older. And we're at about 95% of that age group. So I think the age group of 60 to 74 is at 90%, 50 to 64 is 87%. So, that's doing good. We just need to work on that lower group that I had mentioned earlier. Overall, we are up 104 people over the week before. But we had only 59, which is a little less than we had for fully vaccinated. So we still need to get the message out there to vaccinate as we see the cases. Okay. Mask advisory, still Board of Health advisory is posted from the board meeting of August 16th. It's posted at Town Hall. It's been sent to the Chamber of Commerce. I know some businesses have posted it, so it's still a posting. We have town meeting coming up this month of Tuesday, October 26th. And it will strongly be recommended advisory at town meeting, and we'll have some signs out front, mask advisory and to vaccinate. I have talked to the town clerk, and she's going to strongly recommend it to the people checking in as they go to town meeting. They will again space out town meeting seating, so nobody's sitting next to each other unless they come as couples. And from talking to the school afterwards, the auditorium and gymnasium will be extra cleaned and fogged. So we'll continue with that. Oh, okay. Homebound, we're going to start looking at vaccinations that we did in April. We did 130. They're going to be ready for their third shot, booster shots in October, November. So we'll be coordinating that with the fire department and the senior center. They will maintain lists of people that we need, and we might even have more people. Diane Kane has been is the director of the senior center, and she'll help coordinate that again. Because as we know, homebound will change. We'll be working with the homebound that we had before, and I'm sure we'll probably had some more homebound that will include. The fire department that will be going out in teams of 2 or 3. They had 4 teams of 2 last time, overseen by Lieutenant Chris McMahon, who also did an excellent job of coordinating and picking up the vaccine and coordinating the team and dividing the town into quadrants to get that done. So that's something that we're looking to do the end of October, November to get that done. Right now, we're using COVID funding from the federal and state government. As that source ends the end of October, we'll be looking within existing budgets to continue that funding to keep the fire department doing that vaccinations. Okay. COVID outreach by the department over the last couple months. We worked with the Chamber of Commerce on their summer concerts series down by the beach this summer, which was terrific. St. Patrick's Day Parade, they had moved it to last month, and that was a huge success. It was outside, people were able to spread away, so that worked real well. We worked with the Bass Rivers Farmers Market. They have outdoor the market and different crafts. We got the Seaside Festival coming up this weekend, which is always a big thing for the town. Not having it last year, but having it this year with its outside and the booths. We've been working with the food booths on that. And I think the outdoor dining from restaurants has been terrific. We had last year, went real well. The restaurants really like it and enjoy that. So I think that you're seeing that continue along with food pickup. So I think that just shows up a couple slides that we have on the farmers market this summer. The individual booths and how they could spread out the different produce and other breads and muffins that they had. Okay. I think we got a couple pictures of what they have. We have jelly here. Did not have any samples. It was just you could go in and buy what you needed, which will be the same at the Seaside Festival. We have a couple booths. There'll be no samples straight out to the public, but there'll be a couple behind the table that the person could pass to them. So we've been working with the Seaside Festival and those vendors last week. Oh, okay, I think. And just a last picture of, I don't know if everybody got a chance to go to the farmer's market, but they had some terrific vegetables and blueberries and strawberries and everything this summer. It's just a terrific market that ended up their season last week. But we look forward to working with them and their crafters next year. And I hope people can go out there and support the market. Thank you very much. That goes to that. And I think that brings us back to the minutes, Ms. Chairman.
Did you want to do the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee flyer last? Is that it?
Yeah. We'll
Yes,
do that.
okay. And I would entertain a motion for approval of the Board of Health minutes from September 20th, 2021. I did submit a comment to Erica, and she did make the addition that I requested.
I move
there-
that we approve the September 20th Board of Health minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The minutes are approved. Thank you. Is there any new or old business?
I was going to go to the substance awareness section
Okay.
right now.
All right,
sorry.
okay, we'll do that
Yeah.
now.
Thank you. This is kind of a follow-up from the last board meeting on the International Overdose Awareness Month last September and August of each year. To continue that awareness, the Yarmouth Substance Awareness Committee put together with Duffy a series of four nights last week of people wanted to listen to get more information about substance awareness, and they can just log on to the Duffy Healthcare and they can pick up any of the topics. And as you can see up on the screen, the topics that were presented on last Monday, these topics can still be looked at, was just on substance use in special populations. And then we also had one put on by the Annie at the police department on substance use disorders and intimate partner violence. And then on Wednesday, we had overdose education and harm reduction training. And then we ended up Thursday, their last program they had put out was treatment programs and peer support that's available. As the board knows, the board does support Duffy on a substance awareness navigator to help people work through the substance issues that they might arise going forward. So I think that's exciting, and people can just log into the bottom of Duffy if they want more information on those programs. The next two slides, our final two slides really are the International Overdose Awareness Day that we had end of August. Went very, very well. People could come and bring their pictures of their people that they had lost to substance abuse. It was very moving. People had lost sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, various ages. The program has increased over the last 3 years. Dawn that we had gave the presentation at our last meeting, did a terrific job organizing it. And it was well attended with over 200 people, not just from Yarmouth, but all over the Cape attending it. And I'll leave with the last slide of the night here. This is at Smugglers Beach. People were sitting there as people would get up and tell their stories and about their loved ones and just talk that way. And it was just a picture that I took with the beautiful sunset as we're, looking towards and, doing a prayer. And then they had made a heart shaped of shoes and everything for people that were lost. So it was good that the town participated in this, and it was helped a lot of people come forward as part of this. So it was thank you back to the board from the organizers for getting the message out. So that's all I have right now, Ms. Chairman and the board. We do not have anything planned for our next Board of Health meeting right now. We don't have any septic repair variances. The boatyard that we had on hold has not met and cleared up any zoning questions with building yet. So we're still waiting to hear from that. COVID will continue to monitor. Probably working on maybe an update code release on COVID to get out just on general on keeping everybody aware of COVID issues. So I think we probably could wait until, the 1st of November for our next meeting at this time.
I have one question about those educational sessions. Do you know how long they will be available to be accessed online?
That's a good question. I will check on that. I believe they're going to be posted for a good period of time,
Okay,
but I will get that information.
thank you.
And I'll see if they can also keep them up for a certain area for a period of time. And we're also trying to work on having our own Yarmouth awareness page. And that would be something that we could put on that page and leave it there for a good period of time.
Right, good. Is there any new or old business that hasn't been discussed yet? Just a reminder that the town meeting is October 26th, as Bruce mentioned. Tuesday, it's going to be indoors, the Mattakey School. There are some important warrants on it, including the 3 wastewater warrants. Bring your masks.
What time is that meeting?
Believe it's, is it 5 or 6 p.m.? I am so sorry, I don't have that.
Okay.
What was that date?
I will let you know. I will let you know, Eric.
Okay,
26.
26.
Yep, October 26th, Tuesday. If there's no further business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll move it then. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, folks. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Good night.